Good morning, thus everyone. Life is full of obstacles. We face disappointments, delays, and even failures. There are times when we feel lost, like everything is working against us. But let me tell you this: no setback, no mistake, no enemy, and no storm can cancel the purpose that God has for your life. The Bible says in Isaiah 14:27, "For the Lord Almighty has purposed, and who can thwart him? His hand is stretched out, and who can turn it back?" This means that when God declares something over your life, no force in this world can overturn it. Maybe you have prayed for something, and it hasn't happened yet. Maybe you've been struggling in your finances, your health, or your relationships. Maybe people have doubted you, left you, or spoken negativity over your dreams. But let me remind you, what God has spoken over your life is greater than what people say. Think about Joseph in the Bible. He had a dream, a vision from God, but before his dream came to pass, he was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. It looked like his future was destroyed. But what happened? God's plan prevailed. He was raised from the prison to the palace, becoming second in command over Egypt. What others meant for harm, God used for good. There is a power working in your life that no force in this world can stop. It does not depend on circumstances, nor is it subject to the changing opinions of people. It moves with precision, unfolding every event, every detail, every moment according to a higher plan. What is set in motion by the divine cannot be undone by man. The plan is already complete. The work is already finished. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but the unseen reality is more real than the shifting conditions of the outer world. Man looks at delays and calls them failures. He sees obstacles and believes them to be barriers. He measures time and assumes that because a thing has not happened yet, it will not happen at all. But all of this is an illusion of the senses. The truth is that what has been decreed for you must come to pass. It is not a question of if, but when. And the when is determined not by external forces, but by the awakening of your inner conviction. You were not placed here by accident. The longing within you, the deep desire that refuses to be silenced, is the whisper of the eternal calling you toward your purpose. That desire is not separate from its fulfillment. It is the seed already containing within it the full-grown tree. The plan is in motion even when you cannot see it. Even when everything around you suggests otherwise, the unseen forces are aligning circumstances, moving people, opening doors that no man can shut. Think of the journey of one who was given a dream but was thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, falsely accused and imprisoned. To the natural eye, it appeared that everything had gone wrong. The world would have said his life was a series of misfortunes, a path of suffering without reason. But what was hidden from the world was the divine orchestration at work. Every event, even those that seemed unjust and cruel, was a step leading him toward his purpose. The pit was not the end, nor was the prison. They were merely passages leading him to the throne. What others intended for evil was only a tool in the hands of the higher power, shaping him for what was already his. And so it is with you. You may have encountered setbacks. You may have faced rejection. You may have been overlooked, betrayed, or told that your dreams are impossible. But none of these things have the power to stop what has already been set in motion. The only thing that can delay its fulfillment is the doubt that creeps into your mind, the belief that circumstances are greater than the unseen law governing your life. The moment you surrender to the illusion of defeat, you place yourself outside of the flow. But the moment you remember who you are, the moment you align yourself with the certainty that nothing and no one can take from you what has been divinely appointed, you step back into the path that leads inevitably to fulfillment. The outer world is but a shadow of the inner world. If you allow yourself to be moved by appearances, you will waver, believing one day that you are close to your breakthrough and the next that all hope is lost. But if you hold steadfastly to the inner knowing that what has been decreed is already yours, no outer condition will shake you. You will walk through difficulties with a quiet confidence of one who knows that they are merely passing through, that nothing in the external world can hinder the unfolding of the divine will. It is not your job to figure out the how. That is the work of the unseen forces that govern all things. Your part is to remain in alignment with the truth, to trust, to know that what is meant for you is already accomplished in the higher realm. Time is not a barrier. Delay is not denial. What appears to be an obstacle is often the very thing shaping you, preparing you for what is to come. And when the moment is right, what is yours will come, not as something uncertain or accidental, but as the natural unfolding of what was always meant to be. So do not fear the setbacks. Do not let discouragement take root in your heart. Walk as though you already possess that which you seek, for in truth you do. It is not outside of you, waiting to be obtained. It is within you, waiting to be revealed. No power on earth can take it from you, for it is not of this world. It is eternal, unshakable, unstoppable. It is the plan set in motion before the foundations of the world, and nothing can stop it. There is no such thing as a delay in the divine plan, only the illusion of delay perceived by the limited mind. What appears as a setback is, in truth, an essential part of the journey. The moment you accept this, you cease to resist the unfolding of your destiny, and instead you move in harmony with it. Every event in your life is leading you precisely where you are meant to be. Nothing is ever wasted, nothing is ever lost, and nothing is ever truly working against you. It is all part of the grand design, perfectly orchestrated, even when it appears otherwise. Man, caught in the web of time, believes that because he has not yet seen the fulfillment of his desire, it must be distant or unattainable. He looks at his circumstances and measures his progress by the evidence of the senses, unaware that all external conditions are but reflections of past beliefs. The outer world does not dictate your destiny. It merely echoes what you have accepted as true. To change your experience, you must first change your assumption. You must see beyond what is visible and trust in the unseen reality that is even now taking form. It is not the passage of time that brings your dreams to fruition, but the alignment of your consciousness with their inevitable fulfillment. The longer you dwell in doubt, questioning whether things are working in your favor, the more you prolong the manifestation of what is already yours. The moment you surrender to the certainty that all things are working together for your good, you step into the flow of divine timing, where nothing is late, nothing is missing, and nothing is beyond reach. Consider the life of one who was given a vision, yet was met with opposition at every turn. The world saw his struggles as misfortune, yet each trial was a stepping stone, shaping him for what was already his. Had he resisted the journey, had he given in to despair and turned away from his purpose, he might have delayed the promise, but he could never have destroyed it. The plan was set in motion long before the trials appeared, and not even the darkest night could alter its fulfillment. So it is with you. You may look at your present reality and see obstacles. You may believe that because things have not happened in the way or the time you expected, they may never happen at all, but that is only because you are judging the process rather than trusting the outcome. You are not waiting for things to change. You are being prepared to receive what is already yours. And when you are ready, it will appear, not as something uncertain or distant, but as the natural and inevitable unfolding of what was always meant to be. Your faith is not tested in the moments of ease, but in the moments when everything appears to be against you. That is when you must stand firm, refusing to be moved by appearances. The world will tell you that time is running out, that doors are closing, that your dreams are slipping away. But none of that is true. The only thing that can delay your fulfillment is your belief that it is being delayed. The moment you shift your awareness, the moment you declare within yourself that it is done, the illusion of waiting is shattered and the reality begins to take form. You are not at the mercy of circumstances. Nothing has been denied you. Nothing has been taken from you. All that is truly yours is secure, waiting for you to rise into the consciousness of its possession. And when you do, you will see that what once seemed like a delay was in fact divine preparation. What once seemed like a failure was actually a necessary realignment. You will look back and realize that every step, even those that felt like setbacks, was guiding you toward the fulfillment of your destiny. The law is absolute, it cannot fail. The promise is sure. The only question is whether you will believe it before you see it. If you can hold unwavering faith in the unseen, if you can persist in the knowledge that your purpose is unfolding perfectly, then nothing in this world can stand in your way. Time is not your enemy. Circumstances are not your enemy. There is no enemy but doubt. And even that holds no real power except that which you give it. Do not be deceived by appearances. Do not let the illusion of delay shake your certainty. Walk as though you already possess that which you seek, for in truth you do. The outer world is merely catching up to the inner reality that has already been established. Trust the process, trust the divine order, and know this: your destiny is inevitable, your purpose is secure, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand in the way of what has already been decreed for you. There is a law that governs all things, a force unseen yet more powerful than any visible condition. It moves in perfect order, bringing forth into the world that which man holds as true within himself. The foundation of all creation is belief, and it is through belief that every experience in life is shaped. The world outside is nothing more than the reflection of the world within, and the moment one understands this, he ceases to be at the mercy of circumstances. Faith is not something to be grasped for in times of trouble. It is the foundation upon which all things rest. To waver in faith is to delay that which is already yours. It is to shift between knowing and doubting, between trust and fear, and in doing so, to hold yourself in a state of uncertainty. What you believe with conviction must come to pass, for it is the very nature of creation that thought takes form. To entertain doubt is to plant the seed and uproot it in the same breath. If one could but hold firm to the truth, unmoved by what the senses report, he would see the evidence of his faith appear before him in ways that seem almost miraculous. Man looks at his circumstances and believes that they have power over him. He sees lack and believes he is without. He sees opposition and believes he is blocked. But these things are only reflections of past thoughts. shadows of old beliefs that no longer serve him. If he would turn his attention away from what appears to be, and instead focus on what must be, he would find that reality itself bends to his conviction. Nothing is impossible to the one who believes, not as a mere hopeful thought, but as an unshakable certainty. There is no force in the world that can oppose the one who has made up his mind. The opposition exists only in the mind that doubts. When a man truly knows that what he desires is already his, he moves through life with a confidence that nothing can shake. The world may tell him it is not so. The evidence of the senses may contradict his vision. But none of these things matter to the one who knows. His faith is the substance of the thing hoped for, the evidence of that which is not yet seen. And because he does not waver, because he holds to the unseen as though it were already here, it must come forth. The greatest battle is always within. The struggle is never against the world, but against the mind that believes it is limited. The moment one accepts that he is not subject to the conditions of the world, but rather the creator of them, he is free. He no longer pleads, no longer waits, no longer questions when or how. He simply knows, and in that knowing, all things are made possible. It has never been about effort, nor has it ever been about struggle. It is only about belief. The one who believes he must fight for his blessing will find life a constant battle. The one who believes that all things are already his will walk in the quiet confidence of one who knows that the world must conform to his inner state. Every great change comes not from force, but from a shift in consciousness. Change the mind, and the world must change with it. Nothing in the world has power over the one who understands this. No delay, no opposition, no seeming failure can shake him. He knows that all things are working together for his good, that even what appears as a setback is merely a step forward in disguise. He does not fear loss, for he knows that nothing truly his can ever be taken from him. He does not worry about time, for he knows that what is meant for him will arrive at precisely the right moment. His only task is to hold to the vision, to remain in the state of knowing, and to trust that what is unseen is more real than what is seen. To live in faith is to live beyond the world of appearances. It is to walk in a reality that others cannot yet see, to hold in the mind a certainty so strong that it must manifest in the physical world. There is no power that can resist it. There is no force that can stand against it. It is the law by which all things are made, and it is the key to a life without limits. The question is never whether the promise will be fulfilled, but whether one will hold to the promise long enough to see it. The moment one turns away in doubt, he begins again, prolonging what was already his. But the one who stands firm, who refuses to be moved, who declares within himself that it is already done, he will see the fulfillment of all that he has believed. The world will call it luck, will call it coincidence, will say it was bound to happen, but he will know the truth. He will know that it was not the world that changed, but his own consciousness. And in changing, he shaped the world to match his inner reality. There is a truth that few understand, yet it governs every aspect of life. That truth is simple. What is meant for you is already yours. No power on earth can take it away, no force can stop it, and no circumstance can delay it, except the belief that it can. The only obstacle that ever exists is doubt, and doubt is nothing more than misplaced faith. It is faith in failure, faith in delay, faith in the illusion that something outside of you has control over your destiny. But the moment you awaken to the reality that nothing can stop what has already been decreed, you step into the life that has always been yours. The world will tell you otherwise. It will present obstacles, opposition, and setbacks, all appearing to be external forces working against you. But these things are merely shadows cast by past beliefs, echoes of a consciousness not yet fully aligned with the truth. The outer world is not the cause, it is the effect. If one would cease to battle the shadows and instead turn inward to the source, he would find that nothing outside of him has any power at all. Nothing can stop what is yours, but you can delay it if you insist on seeing with the eyes of the world. The one who waits for evidence before believing will always wait, for the world reflects what is held within. The moment one chooses to believe despite appearances, the world begins to shift, aligning itself with the new assumption. This is the great secret, the key to all fulfillment. Reality is not something that happens to you. It is something you create by your state of being. There is no competition, no lack, no limitation. These ideas exist only in the minds of those who believe them to be real. But what happens when one refuses to accept them? What happens when one declares with absolute certainty that nothing and no one can take from him what is his? The entire universe bends to his will, for he is no longer operating by the laws of man, but by the higher law that governs all things. Consider the one who desires success, yet doubts his own worthiness. He struggles, pushes, and fights, believing that he must force the world to give him what he seeks, and yet, no matter how hard he tries, the doors remain closed. He calls it bad luck, bad timing, or opposition from others, but none of these are the cause. The cause is his own inner resistance, the belief that he is separate from what he desires. The moment he lets go of this false idea and assumes the feeling of already being successful, the barriers disappear. What he once chased now comes to him effortlessly. Man has been taught to believe that life is a battle, that success must be earned through struggle, that he must prove himself worthy before he can receive what he desires. But this is the great deception. The truth is far simpler. One need only accept what is already his. The moment he does, the world must conform. The moment he stops seeking and starts knowing, all that he desires begins to move toward him. It has never been about effort, it has always been about alignment. The one who walks in certainty, who refuses to entertain doubt, is unstoppable. The world may throw obstacles in his path, but they crumble before him, for they are not real. They exist only for those who believe in them. The one who knows his destiny cannot be taken from him, moves forward with ease, for he no longer fights against illusions. He simply walks in the assurance that all things are working in his favor. There is no loss in this universe. Nothing is ever truly taken away. If something seems to be removed from your life, it is only because something greater is on its way. The mind, conditioned by fear, clings to what is familiar, believing that security lies in holding on. But true security is knowing that nothing can ever be lost. What is yours remains yours, regardless of appearances. The one who understands this does not fear change, for he knows that every shift is merely the rearranging of conditions to bring him exactly where he is meant to be. The only work required is to remain in the state of knowing. It is to refuse every thought of doubt, every fear, every appearance that contradicts the promise. The moment one accepts the truth that what is his cannot be taken, he steps into a reality where all things are drawn to him effortlessly. He no longer chases. He no longer struggles. He simply receives. Time is not a factor. There is no need to ask when or how, for these questions imply doubt. The only question is whether one is willing to believe before the evidence appears. If he can do that, if he can hold to the truth despite all appearances, then nothing in this world can stop the manifestation of what is already his.